So good day. This is our last topic for this semester, which is modern physics. Previously, um, you watched the pre-recorded discussion, the part 1 by my co-instructor Lakta Katangkay, and now this is the part 2, which is the first discusses the nuclear physics. So, bibilisan natin dito na hindi na tayo magpapakita ng mga computations and other dahil mabubulaga kayo sa SPS3 nyo but wala. So, wag na natin pagkahirapan yung tingin naman natin wala talaga. So, sorry for my background noise. So, let's start. So, atomic nucleus. Atomic nucleus consists of the number of protons and neutrons. So, yun nga. Kung meron tayong particles which are electron, proton, neutron, positron, and alpha particle. With the symbol, yan, makikita nyo naman sa screen. And its mass, and also its charge. So, atomic number, it is equal to the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom of a particular element. While atomic mass, it is the sum of protons and neutrons in the nucleus with a formula. John? With the formula that you see in the screen. So, kakatanda ka pinag-aralan na ito sa Chem 1. So, this is the periodic table of elements na updated with nihonium, pleurovium, moscovium, livermorium, tennessine, and oganesson. This is the periodic table. This table. Halogens and alkali react aggressively. So, yan. Sample problem. Atomic mass unit AMU. Exactly equal to the 1/12 of the mass of the most abundant form of the carbon atom. Yan yung AMU sa Chem. Atomic mass unit. Next is isotopes. Isotopes are atoms that have the same atomic number but different mass number. Chemistry din to. Mass spectrometer, a device that is used to separate isotopes of an element. In the mass spectrometer, the velocity and radius of the singly ionized particles are with the formula. Next is mass defect and binding energy. The mass defect is the difference between the rest mass of a nucleus and the sum of the rest masses of its nucleons. While the binding energy is the energy required to separate a nucleus into its consistent nucleons. It is where you multiply the mass defect to C squared. So from the word difference, minus subtraction, then some addition. So yan, sample problem. Next is radioactivity. Radioactivity unstable nuclei are said to be radioactive when the balance of force is not maintained. However, and sometimes, particles or photons are emitted from the nuclei of atoms. Next is the radioactive emissions, the alpha particle, the beta particle, and the gamma ray. Alpha particle is the nucleus of a helium atom and consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, while beta particle is 2 types of beta particles, namely beta plus and beta minus. Ang beta plus particle is positron and has the same mass of an electron but the opposite charge, while beta minus particle, known as an electron of charge and mass equal to 0.0005. AMU, or atomic mass unit. Next is gamma ray, a high-energy electromagnetic wave similar to heat and light but of much high frequency. So, yan. Alpha decay, beta minus decay, beta plus decay. Activity. Activity is the rate at which the radioactive nuclei decay. It is generally expressed in curies. Primary curie. 1 Ci or 1 curie is equal to 3.7 times 10 raised to 10. What's this? Ay, kinuha lang yata. So, yan. Nuclear reaction. Nuclear reactions are nuclei radiation and or nucleons collide to form different nuclei radiation and nucleons. From the word reaction, redox reaction. Collide, pagsasamahin. Nuclear chain reaction continues splitting of atoms by the successive fission and emission of neutrons. From the game chain reaction, yung uso dati. Then, conservation of charge. The total of charge of a system can neither be increased nor decreased in a nuclear reaction. Conservation of nucleons. The total number of nucleons in the interaction must be remain unchanged. While conservation of mass energy, the total mass energy of a system must remain unchanged in a nuclear reaction. A nuclear reactor, a device that controls the nuclear fission of a radioactive material, producing a new radioactive substances and large amounts of energy. So, yun yung process. With cooling towers, generator, reservoir, cooling water, the condenser, the turbine, the switchyard, the steam line, the pump, the steam generator, the control rods, the reactor, and the pump. Next is nuclear fission and fusion. The first one is breeder reactor. It produces new nuclear fuel from fertile substances which cannot be used directly as fissionable fuel but which can be converted into fissionable material. Next is nuclear fission. The process by which heavy nuclei are split into two or more nuclei of intermediate mass number. In nuclear fusion, the process of joining together of light nuclei into single heavier nucleus. Fission, divide, nuclear join. The last effect in modern physics is the particle physics. We have the fundamental forces, the strong force, electromagnetic force, weak force, and gravitational force. Sa amin, pinag-aralan to sa Earth Science. Strong force responsible for the tight binding of quarks to form neutrons and protons, and for the nuclear force, a sort of residual strong force binding neutrons and protons into nuclei. While electromagnetic force, it is about 10 to 2 times or 12 times greater. The strength of the strong force is responsible for the bending of atoms and molecules. The weak force, short-range nuclear force that is exhibited in the instability of certain nuclei. While gravitation force is a long-range force with a strength only about 10 to 43 times that of the strong force. So, yan. May mga important terms lang na photons, gluons, gravitons, and bosons. So, kunin nyo lang yung mga key terms. Ano? Electromagnetic force that it is mediated is photons. Tapos, weak force is mediated bosons. Yan. Next is Feynman diagram. Feynman diagram is developed by Richard Feynman, which forces between two particles can be understood in general with a simple illustration. So yan. So yan, mga forces, strong, electromagnetic, weak, and gravitational. And its relative strength, the range of force, and the mediating field particle. Next is the Dirac's theory. Dirac's theory accounted for the electron's spin and its magnetic moment, but had an apparent flaw in that it predicted negative energy states. That the theory was skewed by positing the existence of an anti-electron having the same mass as an electron but the opposite charge. So yan. Positron. Carl Anderson, 1932, a cloud chamber experiment, which is the positive electron. So hadrons, leptons, interact with the strong force ng hadrons. Ang leptons ay participate in the weak interaction. So see lecture material for more information about particles. In conservation laws, a number of conservation laws are important in the study of the elementary particles. Although those described here have no theoretical foundation, they are supported by abundant empirical evidence. So yan. Meron tayong three families, the baryon, mesons, leptons. Yan. Lepton. Next is strange particles. It is the K, L, and S particle exhibit unusual properties in their production and decay. Strangeness is this whenever a nuclear reaction or decay occurs, the sum of the strangeness numbers before the process must equal to the sum of strangeness numbers after the process. The Eightfold Way. So itong ibang to ay hindi na masyadong mahalaga pero part siya ng particle physics. Yan. The quarks to. Yun nga. Hadrons are composed of more elementary particles na tinatawag na quarks. Quark model. All hadrons are composite systems of 2 or 3 of 6 fundamental constituents called quarks, which rhymes with sharks, although some rhyme it with forks. These quarks are given arbitrary names: up, down, strange, charmed, bottom, and top, designated by letters U, D, S, C, V, and T. So yan, color, may color yan. Quantum chromodynamics yan. Nakita ko sa exam. The theory of how quarks interact with one another by means of color change. According to this theory, there are 8 gluons with all color charge of the anti-gluons when a quark emits or absorbs a gluon, it color changes. Color force, the strong force between quarks. So, example niyan ay yung sa mga posters. Pag matagal na pagbago, maganda pang kulay. Pero pag nagtagal na, nauulanan, nasisikatan ng araw, na mawala yung ganda ng kulay niya. Nagpe-fade or changes. Gluons. This is where the force is carried by massless particles. Electroweak theory. Electromagnetic and weak interaction postulates that the weak and electromagnetic interaction have the same strength of very high particle energies and are different manifestations of a single unifying electroweak interaction. Then standard model, the combination of electroweak theory and QCD for the strong interaction forms what is referred to the high energy physics. So yan, may forces, strong electromagnetic weak gravity with gauge bosons, the gluon photon WZ bosons, graviton. Then symmetry breaking and Higgs boson. Then the GUT or the gut theory. Sabi nga ba, pero Grand unification theory. The electroweak force was merged with a strong color force to form a grand unified force. So, for the reference yan. So, tapos na yung ating discussion. But for now, punta tayo sa some pointers to review. Here, this is the pointers to review in your exam. So this is SPS 3 pointers to review. Ang coverage niya is optics and modern physics. Those optics, yung reflection, refraction, mirrors, and lenses, the optical instruments, interference, diffraction, and polarization. While sa modern physics ay relativity, quantum physics, nuclear physics, and particle physics. Actually, kalat siya. So, sa SPS, may 50 items. The 25 items is true or false. And the remaining 25 items is multiple choices. Not searchable siya, kaya huwag nyo na i-try na i-search. So, more on statement Q. Kaya, understand din nyo na lang yung magkakaano dito. So, again, with my co-instructor Lakta Katangkay, I'm the Gikap Nayak Katangkay, and saying to you that good luck in your SPS3 and have a blessed day. Thank you.